Hi Ashley, it's Fancy, and I am looking at your scale on this kind of dreary morning. Um, it is looking pretty good. There are a couple of things I think you should think about, but overall it's looking pretty good. The first thing is this last row, row 7, and anything I do to it, I'm looking at it on my screen. If I turn up the brightness all the way or I change the angle of my screen, it looks entirely black. So I think it leaves a little bit of representation of color in it, just a tiny bit. Um, so it's just too black right now. Um, unlike the white, or the white, unlike the first row, I can still see a suggestion of the different color families in there. What I really like about your scale is that um, you have the values across the rows working really well overall. And when you look at the scale as a whole, you see each row as a step, so there's no major break. Sometimes you see these stair-step effects where um, the values are just not working, but you don't see that in yours. One thing you need to work on is the yellow is still a bit light. So the vanishing boundary here is good between the yellow and the green, but with the orange and the yellow, it's not working as well. So that could mean you could try darkening the yellow, um, or you could try lightening the orange and consequently the magenta, or a combination of both. Um, the equal value contrast between these 4 color families from step 1 to step 2 um, is different than the equal value contrast between the magenta and the orange scale from 1 to 2. So again, it's kind of a balancing act. Now if you darken the yellow, that would bring it closer to this, and so you would start to have some grouping here. But you could go darker with this a little bit darker with this one, a little bit darker with this one. Or these are kind of grouping together, so you could go a little bit lighter with this one, a little bit lighter with this one. It would separate a little bit more from there. But you're really, really close. So take one more look. The other thing about it, before you make too many changes to this one, you need to print it because you'll be graded off the printed scale. So as we all know, the printed version looks a lot different than the screen version. So again, you may want to print it out if you haven't already and see what that looks like. All right, Ashley, on to your design.